Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you, Sidonian and Hat, for that thrilling first semi-final here at the Heroes Lounge Legendary Cup. Now, I'm Karis, and joining me for the second semi-final today is Ashendarai.
Hello everyone, how are we all today?
Well, I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Excellent. Exciting game so far today, it seems. That last one, especially, 12%. And
Absolutely
a
thrilling,
10-minute complete using the maximum amount of time that they had to make sure that Fizz was able to reconnect. Otherwise, it could have gone very differently, it seems.
I know, very, very nearly lost on technical issues, but also, I mean, incredible performance there from Water Dragons as well. I mean, I believe there was a viewer poll done in the draw show, and I recall that the top two teams that viewers voted most likely to win the Legendary Cup were Band of Brewers, who we're about to see in the second semi-final, and Mold Level Rising, I think, were number two. So if that could be the final here, Mold Level Rising versus Band of Brewers, but definitely all 8 teams who've come through today have shown incredible performance. So we are going to go into the second semi-final of the day. This is L.O.G.I.A versus Band of Brewers, and we are actually ready to go into the draft on Infernal Shrines.
Yeah, so have we mentioned the map bans that have come up just while the teams are starting the draft?
We haven't. Maybe you should talk us through them, Ash.
Yeah, so we have, say, L.O.G.I.A, I believe, was banning Dragon and Braxis. So obviously not wanting to play Braxis, which is a real Marmite map. You know, some people love it, some people hate it. It's just quite a common ban. We have Cursed Hollow and BOE banned from BOB in there, so just not wanting to play those maps at all, it seems, as they seem to be quite favourites a lot of the time.
Yeah, BOE particular has been getting picked up a lot today, in fact, by a variety of different teams. So maybe something that the Band of Brewers are not so comfortable on there. So L.O.G.I.A, by the way, L.O.G.I.A do have a strategy with Cursed where they pick Deathwing on Cursed, and we saw that actually they were one of the few teams to beat Mold Level Rising in a game in their 1-2 defeat against Mold in the normal division stages on Cursed using that strategy in their phenomenal Deathwing play, and they pulled it out as well in the Method Mayhem tournament. But now we see, of course, the Anna getting picked up with Joanna.
Yes, and before that, Time Bullet, obviously very famous for his ETC, so looking to snatch that up straight away. So they'll be very, very happy with that opening pick. Johanna obviously very strong on Infernal Shrines, as well as being strong into the ETC. Grabbing the Anna as well gives them tons of options. I mean, ban-wise, Sonya coming out against Lazy, that's not a surprise either, and Cassia being, you know, meta ban at the moment. For me, it shouldn't be let through in any case. And then a URL Imperious, again, not really wanting to let those through either, with main tank Imperious becoming quite prominent now in the meta.
Yeah, but of course that leaves that Mephisto for Insanity. I mean, that's
Insanity,
got to be
yeah.
Yeah. Is that something that L.O.G.I.A needs to be really afraid of?
I think that's one of Insanity's go-tos is Mephisto. They just let him play. They like Insanity to play his game, and if you give him the space and you give him the opportunity, he can completely change it.
Yeah. So I think that is something that definitely L.O.G.I.A are going to watch out for. It is a 100% win rate with Mephisto so far, 7-0 from Band of Brewers.
Yeah.
So,
and with Mephisto as well, he is such a strong hero in the right hands, but you don't necessarily ban against him because you leave other things open.
Yeah, well, like that Cassia that you were talking about. Now, I wonder, is Chromie an answer to Mephisto here? You know, because you can use the temporal loop to bring Mephisto back after his Shade returns. However, no, they've gone for the Kael'thas instead. Much better at Shrine Clear, of course, than Chromie. Definitely very strong on the Shrines. You know, it seems like with the Joanna and the Kael'thas, the Shrine Clear advantage seems to be leaning towards L.O.G.I.A so far.
I mean, when you mentioned the time loop there, so just looking to really blow up that Mephisto, are they potentially looking at Anna Kael'thas just getting a Nano Pyro? So Mephisto blinks in, KT is in range of Pyro, Nano comes out, follows him all the way back. Boom. Even with the armor that he picks up, I believe, I can't remember what talent, that would run out by the time the pyro actually reaches him.
Yeah. Okay, so there's something to think about. By the way, there's that Tychus for Page Biscuit that we saw earlier today. So that is interesting. Not going for the Rainer because it was banned, of course, by L.O.G.I.A. But that leaves Page Biscuit with the Cassian, the Rainer ban, leaving her on the Tychus there. Is the Tychus a big threat when you have Joanna with a blind? I'm not so sure here.
I think Tychus is very, very scary. Going into the Johanna, so that Johanna needs to be really concerned about when to hold that blind, because you've got some very very, very punishing heroes on there, and if Johanna gets that iron skin wrong or that blind wrong, then she's just dead. Doesn't matter how much health you've got against a Tychus, really.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Well, viewers at home, you can get your bets in on who you think will win based on these drafts. You can type !bet A and number of points to bet on L.O.G.I.A, and !bet B and the number of points to bet on Band of Brewers. And I did promise earlier, if Band of Brewers pick Lucio, I would bet 10k points on them instantly. No Lucio so far from them today.
Yeah, that sounds like a dare to me. If BOB are listening. Obviously, they shouldn't be. They should be concentrating on the game.
Yeah, they should probably be focusing on their own comms. I mean, so Band of Brewers, are they the natural favourites here, having won in Division 2 and L.O.G.I.A coming from Division 3? Is that the way the
I see BOB as a very solid favourite overall. Not necessarily the strength, the position in which they finished, the dominance that they showed. They're not just a team of great players. They have amazing strategies, and more so than that, they're well drilled. Like, they've practiced, they're rehearsed, they have a game plan for everything they want to do. So, discipline, well regimented. I just think they have everything that's needed. But we shall see.
They're definitely a team who likes to play together, and they've been really kind of building that team cohesion. And we heard from Hat earlier, they even all had brunch together remotely this morning. Band of Brunchers, you may call them in the chat, or you may not, as we wait for these players to load in. Get your bets in, as we are just warming up for the first game in our best of 3 semi-final. I mean, so we shouldn't discount L.O.G.I.A though, because as we said, definitely a very strong Division 3 team, and that is going to be something we have to see how they play, because they've got definitely potential for big burst, and with that Ana grenade on top, maybe they can absolutely ruin Decad's life, Tychus's life, etc. Even if he oversteps as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's no cleanse on either side really. I mean, Ana has the soft cleanse at 16, 13 is it? Sorry.
13, yeah.
And Decad obviously no cleanse at all, but on a counter to that, Decad does have Ruby very early on, which would mean when Mephisto dives in, he's going to have that extra bit of maneuvering room, because he's going to be healed up when going in. I think one thing to really look out for here is going to be what we see in the off lane. So mid-top rotation that you normally see. Azul and Leo, again, both heroes well equipped to get that double soak in reasonably safe. Zul having a bit more pushing power, but Leo being somewhat of a counter to Zul actually when played correctly.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it goes as game 1 is underway. And on the left in blue, it's Joanna, played by Shia. We have Teki on the Ana, Telelol on the Kael'thas, Thraldwyn on the Greymin, and Aita on the Zul.
Yes, and for BOB we have Decad, played by Transparent, Mephisto by Insanity, ETC, Time Bullet's favourite, Leoric, played by Lazy, and Tychus, run by Page Biscuit.
And already the teams are trading blows, but nothing too heavy either way so far. Both teams playing a little bit cautiously. Zul going to go up top and start to try to compete that double soak with Leoric, like you were talking about. Mephisto gets some damage in.
Yeah, I'd say seeing here normal stuff happening. Teams just looking to get the rotation in, get a bit of priority, open up some space. Insanity, they're getting some nice bit of damage. Be interesting to see what happens at 1 minute when the camps come online. See. Now we have, the camp immediately started for Reds, and a pause.
Yeah, we have a quick pause, so we'll just go back to Looking at our beautiful faces. Yeah, I mean, I think, as you say, both teams are going to prioritize the camps very early. I suspect Band of Brewers looks like they're going slightly earlier, but of course, we had Insanity with that slightly further forward positioning, so they may have to cautiously move towards that camp because right now Band of Brewers are a bit split. Yeah, so while we wait for some tech issues, I mean, we didn't quite go over all the level 1 talents, but we talked about for the block party for ETC here. I mean, that's going to be crucial against Greymane, isn't it?
Oh god, yeah, especially so Greymane here is just going to be looking in and get somebody killed. Block party obviously affords that huge protection. That sorry, buttons are a problem. Good job, I'm not playing. So with and we are straight back in. Yeah, with those block stacks that he'll be affording the team, because there's not really auto attackers on there. So KT's not really going to be in range. Johanna's melee, Zul is melee. So when a target gets poked down, that block stacks probably going to make a huge difference.
Yeah, absolutely, and that is definitely a good choice there from Time Bullet. So
and we see some congestion at bottom on that camp. It looks like both teams are looking at it.
Yeah, Greymane gets hit.
Was there a kill?
The minigun on top. The body blocks from Time Bullet. Can they finish off Alderman? Not quite.
Now, just careful of the bomb spread now. If they get out here, that's very nice of them. Rotation's looking quite nice. Slightly better for BOB, with half a level advantage, albeit with lanes slightly pushed.
Yeah, everything fairly smooth sailing so far for Band of Brewers. I don't think anything too much to cause L.O.G.I.A a major concern. It's just that one camp advantage, really, that's making the difference so far with 270 XP that it gave. So really, BOB just controlling slightly better that rotation and that camp, but nothing, as I say, too exotic so far.
Yeah, and say looking at here, so Leo doing a very good job, just stalling in that bush. Obviously no vision on the enemy team, waiting to clear that camp. And it might be a bit of an early camp though on the Shaman for L.O.G.I.A. Not opting to hold it either. BOB obviously following suit. They might have a small advantage on that one though, seeing how the waves are about to crash. But we might have an invade here.
We do indeed. Joanna stepping in. Page Biscuit has to run and gun away, and that means Greymane going to step up, start capping the camp.
No, we're 4v5 here though, aren't we? Mephisto's not there.
Yeah, Mephisto's on his way though as fast as he can. Time Bullet uses the phase melt, try and push them off. Holds the point for a second, but Time Bullet's falling so low. Has to slide, but the wall's in the way, and ETC's the first to fall.
Oh, they're starting to get low. Bomb spread, bomb spread.
Bomb spread is indeed, so it's 2 for 1. 2 for Tuesdays though. A third dies on the blue side. It's going to be 3 apiece. No, 4 for 2.
Completely flipped.
Oh, wow. Incredible performance there for Band of Brewers. But it looked so good there for L.O.G.I.A. Looked like a really nice invade. Didn't quite pay off in the end.
No, it looks like there was a bit of miscommunication there. It seemed like a lot of targets started to get low, but then there wasn't any kind of conciseness on who they wanted to kill. Like they wanted the ETC first, but that meant swapping targets, so you're kind of losing damage initially. So maybe if they'd have focused ETC a bit sooner, that would have gone a bit different, forcing others to either go on the point or give. But we'll see how that changes later on in the game.
Really quality decision making from Time Bullet on ETC, I think, by the way, to stand on the, to use his slide on the point, knowing he's going to die, but to get the stuns off before he dies, rather than sliding out and saying, well, I'm all right, Jack, and leaving his teammates for dead.
Yeah.
And that secures them this first Punisher.
Yeah, and as well on top of that, what you mentioned earlier about the block stacks. So when BOB was starting to get low, that slide granting the block stacks, reducing Greymane's damage, and potentially swapping the outcome of that fight.
Yeah, so absolutely huge there. And now they're going to push on with this Mortar Punisher. They don't get too much with it, of course, because it's an early game Punisher and it's only a Mortar. So they get the front wall and not much more. But of course, in the meantime, Lyric's been soaking out of his skeletal mind. And he's going to carry on like that.
Yeah, it's a solo player HOTS. We have another invade coming up here, though. I say L.O.G.I.A are looking to get very aggressive, not really letting BOB the pots enough to save ETC.
4 HP! Oh. Down to 4 HP, but Page Biscuit has paid the price for Time Bullets running away, and that's going to be a kill on Page. And of course, a great camp invade. What I really like there in that terms of decision making from L.O.G.I.A is they saw that the Zul was mid and L.O.G.I.A was top, and used that timing on the rotations to invade
exactly.
the camp.
I mean, this is where almost being ahead of your rotations is not going to pay dividends if the enemy team is reacting to that intelligently, which they did, and BOB paid the price for it, unfortunately.
Still, level 10's in for BOB, so they're not going to be too worried just yet. They still have a slight XP lead, although nothing for them to worry too much about on the opposing side. So level 10's are in. It's Mosh Pit from ETC. It's the Durance of Hate from Mephisto. Stay a while and listen from Decade, Entomb from L.O.G.I.A, and the Odin from Tychus.
Yes, and say level 10 now has just been reached by L.O.G.I.A. I mean, it was quite fortunate there because the objectives still not come up for the second Punisher, meaning that level 10 advantage there wasn't much to be gained. We have everything kind of what we expect, and I did call Pyroblast, so I think it's going to be Nano Pyro onto Mephisto when he jumps forwards, but we shall see. Bullet and Nova from Zul as well.
The danger with the Pyro is it is quite easy to interrupt if ETC or a grenade from Tychus or a Stay a While and Listen from Decade step in. And also don't forget, level 13, L.O.G.I.A's Wraith is going to go in and reduce the damage of Chaos versus Pyro as well. So it might not pay off quite as cleanly as perhaps they're hoping. Of course, it all depends on execution.
Yes, although one of the things with heroes.
Stay while and listen, sorry to interrupt, but they caught the Joanna with massive sustained control. First the Entomb to shut the door so Joanna physically couldn't go anywhere, followed by damage, and then the Stay while and listen. Sorry, what were you saying there?
So yeah, just on that one before I forget, the blind there and the Tychus sustain, as you said, just doing absolute work on knocking that Johanna down consistently. But yeah, one interesting thing about heroes before that is the way that the accumulator works. So the multiplicative damage increase for spell power. Sometimes it's additive, sometimes it's multiplicative. So with Nano increasing it by 30% and Leo reducing by 50%, I don't even know how those calculations work. So hopefully they'll be able to do it, but I have no idea exactly what damage will be reduced. And we have Zul being ganked in the top. Very nice rotation.
Again, they're doing really well with these Entomb ganks because they just find anybody even slightly out of position and use the Entomb to buy the time necessary to secure the kill, even when that person has some kind of shield or protection, like Zul, like Joanna. The Entomb just buys them time, and that's absolutely critical so far.
Yes, and say Johanna looking just to anchor a bit there, sniffing out the camp as well. It's a nice sleep onto the ETC, shutting down any potential engage they'd be looking for. But we're almost 13 on both sides now. KT sitting at top though, clearing up that wave with Zul only just respawning. Objective looks like it's going to be cleanly taken, but we shall see what blue team look to do.
I think they're giving this objective, because it's already more or less gone. L.O.G.I.A will finish off the final blow on that, and they have a camp pushing with it, don't forget. It's an Arcane Punisher, so not the end of the world, but it should be, so they should be able to bait this and do some clear on it. The question is, how hard can the engage follow with this?
Yeah, no, say Johanna realizing that the Punisher was coming much further back, not opting to use the Iron Skin early, giving that chance to stay defensive and a bit more aggressive like she is doing, trying to prevent, and that's a wonderful condemn following the power slide, and Johanna then having the Iron Skin available for the Punisher's second jump, which was very cleanly done.
The Ford might survive here, and maybe not, because it's falling pretty low and Mephisto's going in. But there's the Blessed Shield onto Mephisto. Decade with the Stay a While and Listen stops them from running too far. The Pyro doesn't finish off time, but look, 250 HP goes down to it, but it's not a kill. And that's all that counts when they've got so far away.
Yeah, I mean, with ETC, you've always got to be worried about, he has 25 natural armor on abilities on top of the block party that he's opted into. So it's very difficult to try and figure out if you're going to have the damage or not, even with the Pyro that I believe went onto him. The sleep though is huge, just shutting down part of that engage, giving the space. Bullet comes out.
Yeah, doesn't quite do much damage there. Time Bullet stepping up a little bit, trying to zone for Page Biscuit. Mephisto there with the Shade just puts a little extra damage, comes back. Of course, there's no Pyro to follow up that Shade, which is exactly what you're talking about their game plan would be, because they've already used it on ETC. I mean, on that point about the ETC armor, I wonder maybe he'll go for the 35 armor upgrade at level
Power
16.
Showstopper.
Yeah, and just make himself even more unkillable to that kind of burst because he'll have more armor on demand.
Yeah, everything helps. I mean, because he's not gone for globes at 1, even taking E at 16 wouldn't really be as viable. I did see a armor reduction on Mephisto. I might have been imagining it, but I saw minus 10% armor, and I'm trying to figure out where it had come from. Again, I could have just been imagining things.
I don't know off the top of my head, but right now these teams are going to step up and just keep soaking now, playing a bit cautious. Level 16s are in, of course, a band of Brewers.
And Zul sat in the top lane. They have 5 people sat there. I think they're going to look for something, maybe claim a structure.
They may well do. They may be pushing onto this fort. Of course, Zul will get the 16 pretty soon, and then when they do, they'll start rotating down. The question is, can they get this fort in time? ETC anchoring in the bush, but you've got to be a little bit cautious. He has gone, by the way, for the showstopper at 16, so he does have the 35 armor to escape with if needed. Page Biscuit gets out of there, doesn't want to take any more damage from Greymane, then she has to.
Yeah, and 16's now picked up for L.O.G.I.A. Red team just rotating straight onto that camp, no hesitation, and Leo returning to the double soak. L.O.G.I.A, though, looking to get that top camp set up. Red's, BOB, sorry, will be a slight bit slower, obviously with Greymane's insane clear and only having Tychus and Deckard currently going on top. Leo might move around to actually help them, though it looks like Mephisto's joining them as well. L.O.G.I.A up in a few seconds. The teams now just wanted to set up, I think. If L.O.G.I.A gets some good positioning here, obviously Deckard with his pots, they just want to deny that setup and not give them the space and the time to create the engage that they want.
Yeah, so this is really nice setup here from L.O.G.I.A, controlling the shrine so early. And of course, they've got the Kelpers to absolutely tear through this shrine. Now, Joanna's zoning on the east side. ETC steps up. The Iron Skin used by Joanna, which means if she then gets entombed, which she has now been, there may be some follow-up. Deckard came with a stay a while and listen to try and shut down members. There's the Durance of Fate onto 3 members. Kelper's falling down. He's gone down completely. Greymane has to start thinking about getting out there, but Mephisto's the one who gets rooted. Greymane steps up. Mephisto has a shield. Stays alive for now. The Shade steps forward. And that is 1 kill apiece so far, but the position seems to be held by Band of Brewers.
Yeah, and just Odin there, like say, blue team starting to get low, and Paige on Tychus in the big gun mech is saying to everyone, if you stay here, I will kill you. Bullet comes out again.
Yeah, this time onto Leoric, who falls down to 250 HP, doesn't die, but of course that means he's completely zoned out of this shrine, and he's probably the best shrine clear on the side of Band of Brewers, so they're going to stay a bit back for now. He has tapped, will step up. They're on 38 though. The Punisher is surely going over to L.O.G.I.A, and it has, but they want to fight. Mephisto with the Durance doesn't connect onto anyone. Leoric has the Unstoppable, gets away for now from Greymane, but there's the follow-up damage. Leoric safely retreats to his fort.
And looking at top, that camp value that they picked up, I mean, that's top fort for free. And at bottom, it looks like they're claiming the second one, so it looks like L.O.G.I.A in such a great position right now.
Yeah, absolutely incredible from L.O.G.I.A so far. And this is a Frozen Punisher walking very healthily onto this bottom keep.
Although arguably the weakest one at this point, though, I think, if memory serves. You want Frozen early game, then Mortar late game, after the 12-minute mark especially. But
yeah,
it
well, it may
like
depend on how well they can keep the enemy team at bay. Because if they can keep the enemy team at bay, they can just clear the Punisher fairly easily, and that's not a problem, as they have done quite successfully. So nice play from Band of Brewers there to clear this Punisher safely. They have lost the front wall on their keep, but nothing really more than that.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're L.O.G.I.A right now, I think you'd be sitting quite happy, especially how the early game has gone, and now like BOB are 2 structures down, whereas L.O.G.I.A are 1 structure down, and they are looking much more dominant. It seems like they've shook off those nerves at the start of the semi-final game, and said, look, this is what we're doing, and they have complete map control now. Everything pushed out. They have full vision on everything. I see them, quite strongly, quite in a strong position at the moment.
Yeah, L.O.G.I.A definitely feel like they've got the momentum here, but they're still behind in XP because L.O.G.I.A has been doing a phenomenal job. 20,000 experience soaked by L.O.G.I.A alone compared to 15,000 from Zul. So, a third more by L.O.G.I.A. So incredible soaking from Lazy. But now the Blessed Shield, the Stay a While and Listen though to counter. Joanna has the Iron Skin, so she's not going to be too worried. The Mosh Pit hitting onto Grayman, and Lazy's starting to put out some serious damage. The Entomb's there, but Lazy's the one who's got to start thinking about getting away. Time Bullet steps up, tries to zone away the damage of L.O.G.I.A, but it's not going to be enough. And it's 1 kill so far in favor of L.O.G.I.A.
Yeah, I mean, that everything just really seemed to go. The fights seemed to go exactly how L.O.G.I.A wanted it there, even going slightly under that fort. They saw Tychus was rotating late from the bot lane, and they thought, you know what, we want this fight, even though we're not 20, we're going to take it, and they got the kill. A fantastic play.
L.O.G.I.A just looking absolutely sensational so far here. Got a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of momentum, and they're not thinking about brunch, they're thinking about killing the enemy team. And it's really showing in the energy and the momentum they've got. Level 20s, though, picked up as well by Band of Brewers. So neither team with an XP advantage. Sizable structural advantage for L.O.G.I.A, but no keeps yet. Means the game is wide open right now. Level 20s talents are in, as we say. Radiated Faith for Joanna. The instant cast Mosh Pit, I sometimes call it, because of how long that stun is and how many people it hits. Time Bullet steps up. There's the
And
first
here, bullet onto bullet.
He slides out to safety. Mephisto steps in with a lot of damage.
Yeah, it's that 20 just making him so much more bursty and punishing. I mean, 20s we have pretty much exactly what we'd expect, although interesting note, something I didn't quite see, was Zul going for full scythe build. So I wasn't sure if that's, let's say, the current meta that you go for, but I've realised that the 20 on that one is 75% less healing, so you have an Ana Grenade of 0 healing and a Zul Scythe of 75% healing. All of BOB need to be very careful when they're looking to pick up those pots.
Well, yeah, because he's gone full scythe build, those scythes are just going to be all over the place, and there's basically no way that Band of Brewers can avoid them. So the Decade Potion value is going to be significantly reduced. It's basically all on whether they can get kills with the Durance and the ETC, because otherwise they won't have the sustain with that minus healing constantly there from those sides.
Yeah, I mean, it could just come down to who gets the kill first.
It may well do, and this shrine is going to be surely the place to decide it. So ETC slides in, doesn't quite connect onto Joanna though. That's got to be dangerous for ETC. In comes Zul from the side with the Poison Nova, but he gets put to sleep immediately by Decade, and that silenced him as well because the Stay a While and Listen upgrade. But the Pyro's there onto Decade. Mephisto falling low with minus 75% healing. The potions aren't going to save him. But the Death Metal onto 3 members. Odin's trying to do as much damage as they can from the Page Biscuit, but she's going to have to get out of there because all of her teammates are dead. And so that is a 4-0 in favor of L.O.G.I.A. Looking incredible there. What an engage from the Zul of all people.
That flank just seemed to be so unexpected. Poison Nova comes out and the Decade ult there, only catching the Zul. And I think that was maybe a bit of a misplay or a bit of a panic, looking to get off the sleep before Nova actually came out. Obviously interrupting and preventing that damage initially from going out. Are they looking to end here? It seems that they are, and it seems they can.
With a Greymane at this level, they're going to absolutely tear through this core. They've got a Catapult to help them as well. 20% and falling. It's going to be GG, well played to L.O.G.I.A in game number 1 in this semi-final.
Indeed, definitely. And RIP all of my points.
Well, I have to say, that was an incredible performance from L.O.G.I.A. Now, Band of Brewers at the start of that, they had they looked so calm, so collected. It was like, we're Band of Brewers, we're going to play our game plan, we know what we're doing, we execute well, and it all looked great. But then L.O.G.I.A, were like, you've activated my trap card, and they just started piling in. I love that Pyro idea, and it turns out it wasn't for the Mephisto as much as it was for the Decade. When he stands still and he says, stay a while and listen, he's like, I'm a big sitting target for Pyro. And of course, Zul had created so much distraction on the side, as you say, with that huge flank there from Eta, that was an incredible performance from Zul, from Eta on the Zul there, and a great finish. And the scythe with the minus healing, as we said, just made those potions worthless at level 20.
Yeah, and it was I say that sleep again. Unfortunately, I think the idea was interrupt the Poison Nova. Like, oh, Zul's here. We need to do something. Sleep comes out, only hits one target, and with the 20 upgrade, you know, the silence and the blind, you're not really getting much value out of it when you're only getting one target. You want to just be causing as much disruption as possible. But you know, fantastic to L.O.G.I.A. Yeah, very very well played. It looked a bit shaky early game, especially after that invade went a bit south. But they kept their composure, pulled it back.
Well, let's not forget, it was 9 kills to 8 in the end. And basically, you know, so until that last fight, Bandit Brewers were ahead in terms of kills. Bandit Brewers did seem very much in control of that early game, but they gradually, the fights turned in favor of L.O.G.I.A. So brilliant from them. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens in the draft of game number 2, because you know, if you're Bandit Brewers, what do you do differently here? You know, are you banning that Greymane? Are you thinking about Azul? It's tough, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean the Johanna, you know, can't be forgotten about there because Johanna had some really difficult things to overcome. The Tychus that she got to be very careful of, peeling against DTC, on top of you know managing the entire backline there because Zul, you know, it's not the most beefiest offlaner, so you kind of really got to be so sharp with Johanna, even though there's not the flashy plays in there. Like the work that was done was so intelligent, so well thought out. One thing I think I brought attention to earlier was holding the Iron Skin for the first Punisher jump, even though there was no wall, would have put her in a bit of danger. Realizing that the optimum play: eat the first stun, eat a bit of damage, save Iron Skin for either the next jump or allow me to step up more, rather than Iron Skin down. I have to be very, very defensive, especially into a Tychus. So intelligent and easily overlooked, I think, like some tank plays.
Yeah, I think we've seen maybe even today a few Joanna players kind of get caught out by the longer cooldown of Iron Skin nowadays and not realizing that you're not quite as survivable as Joanna as maybe she used to be. But this, yeah, absolutely incredible in this game that we just saw. The Joanna really looking very much in command of the hero. So
Yeah,
we are going to get to
just
Tomb of the
controlling the
Spider
pace,
Queen.
yeah.
Which
Yeah,
is going to Tomb, yeah, for game number 2. What do you make of that? I mean, this was Bandit Brewers' choice.
Yeah, so I think they're just looking now for a bit more of a comfort. I mean, they might have some pocket strats they might be looking to pull out. So game 2, always a very interesting one because when you're a game up, you want to be playing a bit more safer, a bit more reserved. Say, play it slow, get what comfortable things you can, and again, play your own game. If you team 2 and you're a game down, you're thinking, was it just, you know, a couple of bad decisions that were made? Was there a problem with the draft? Did they have something better on this map than us? Or do we just pull out something that we've been keeping hidden? And, you know, I'm hopefully going to be surprised by some crazy strategy, as they are always fun to watch. But we shall see.
We shall see as we go into draft number 2 in this best of 3 semi-final at the Heroes Lounge Legendary Cup. Is Tomb of the Spider Queen and L.O.G.I.A have first pick. You know, one of the things that was really important last game is the soak that Leoric gave from Lazy to Bandit Brewers. That's obviously not going to be so impactful here on Tomb of the Spider Queen, where it's more easy for everyone to rotate and cover all the soak. There's the Sonya ban targeted against Lazy.
I think he's 17. Is it seven or 8 wins? I think, and that's the most amount of games where it's not been banned. So I think he's almost 100%. He might have just lost one.
I'm looking up the stats now. It's this season 19 picks for Sonya from Bandit Brewers. 19 with a 95% win rate.
Yeah, so not surprising that that's first ban.
That's absolutely incredible. So absolutely not surprising that's a first ban. Potentially leaving the Cassia open that you were talking about for Page Biscuit. I have to say, I don't think the Tychus was quite working for them in that game there. Maybe they weren't quite following together on the slides and stuff. So but it didn't seem like it was all quite clicking for Bandit Brewers in the later game team fights.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, everything looked a lot cleaner earlier on, apart from that messy invade. But when they first got the kill on Johanna, I think mid, mid lane it was. With the Entomb and the follow-ups that they had there, it seemed to be working very nicely. After that, it just seemed to be, again, not as clean, not clicking as you said. And we have Urel banned out as a final ban.
Well, while we
So
wait for these
again,
first picks, you can type !bet A and a number of points to bet on L.O.G.I.A and !bet B and a number of points to bet on Band of Brewers for game number 2. And if you want to see how many points you got, type !points. ETC, Joanna, and here's something interesting, picking up that Reina for Page Biscuit, the most picked hero by Band of Brewers this season. Clearly,
I mean,
she prioritizes it.
Yeah, it's not surprising. I mean, in Jimmy, you always know what you're going to get. He's solid, he's consistent, he's got some survivability, bit more mobility at 13, giddy up, if you opt to take that, and the armor at 4, he's just a solid all-round, like what you see is what you get. You know, right hand's devastating. And Leo and Malfurion, so they're wanting to kind of choke the offlane a bit there, not wanting to go against Leo, but again, on Tomb, it's not quite like it's a map like Infernal or another large map. There's not as much potential for double soak, but his wave clear will be instrumental against the web weavers. We have Greymane banned out for.
Yeah, I think that's a solid ban there because I think they've recognised that the strat of L.O.G.I.A there is going to be ETC slide, Malfruit, Greymane blow up, and so they're saying no, we're going to take away the one remaining component of that. Now they can still get other burst heroes there. They can get a burst mage as well to go on top of that route, and then, you know, maybe they look at Hanzo or something to kind of finish off the kill. But so
on
far,
top of that, though, have you noticed there's no Cassia ban and there's no Cassia pickup?
No, there is not. Yeah, that's very interesting, and she's still open. In fact, as we go into this final phase, I do like the Anduin pickup, just to mention, because for transparent. We saw that so impactful there in the quarterfinals earlier today. Picked up against Garrosh at that time, but here is going to be against that ETC Malf Maiev combo. Very nice indeed. But let's see how this Maiev goes, because potentially you've got Tether into Kael'thas Living Bombs and Flame Strikes and Malfruits. That could be absolutely devastating. And Anduin's only got one save. He can't save 3 people at a time unless he goes for Protect, and that opens up a whole other can of worms.
Yeah, plus, like, say, you've got all of that that damage should go within a cage. So lots of things in there, and if Anduin's the one caught as well, like, he can't pull himself. Int protection, as it was referred to once. But I kind of like the Alarak pick here. So Maiev versus Alarak, it seems, is going to be the ones to watch out for. 2 very high skill ceiling heroes. Should be quite interesting to watch.
Yeah, it's going to be spicy here. Insanity versus Thraldwin for the Maya versus Alarak combination. I mean, just overall on this draft, who's your money on here, Ash?
Well, I don't have any points left now, but I think BOB are a bit light on wave clear. So, unfortunately, guys, I think my money's going to be on L.O.G.I.A had I had any points. What about you?
You know what? I'm going for Band of Brewers. I think their wave clears maybe not as strong as their opponents, but they've still got the Joanna, they've still got the Reina, so that should be able to cover them for the wave clear as necessary, particularly against the Spiders. And I think potentially Transparent Anduin could save a lot of people here from that ETC Malf combo. But we'll have to see what happens as we go into game number 2 in this best of 3 semi-final. And on the left, in blue, we have L.O.G.I.A with Aether on the Lyric, Telalol on the Kael'thas, Tiki on Malfurion, Thraldwin on that Maiev, and Shaya on ETC.
Yes, on the right-hand side for BOB, we have Lazy playing Rexar, Time Bullet on Johanna, Transparent playing Anduin, Insanity on Alarak, and Page Biscuit playing Reina.
So, level 1 talents are picked immediately. Laws of Hope for Joanna, not going for the Iron Skin reduced cooldown. Expecting a little bit more in terms of poke, potentially. And that's interesting because, of course, there is a big lockdown element of the opposing team, L.O.G.I.A. So that's interesting. Of course, course, Arcane Renewal for L.O.G.I.A, who's going to get that healing, self-healing up and running with more and more globes and keep that reduced cooldown. And Block Party again from ETC.
Yeah, so it is interesting to see the Laws of Hope here, but I can't see enough burst damage coming out from L.O.G.I.A to really force as frequently as you would need that additional CDR. And as well, just giving Johanna a bit more sustain, probably giving Anduin a bit more room. But here we have a wonderful rotation onto ETC, punishing him, obviously not being the healthiest tank in the world, but again, not super squishy. And I think L.O.G.I.A just got the combo in there, and that was a very, very nice rotation. Let's see how L.O.G.I.A respond, or that could have been due to a DC issue.
Right, so we have got a quick bit of lag, so we're gonna go back.
That seems to be the issue there. I think it was ETC lagging slightly, so good rotation. But if ETC was obviously struggling a bit, then it's difficult to say.
It is difficult to say so far. Yeah, but I think there is definitely a threat for ETC there. If he's ever out of position, whether it's, in this case it may have been from lag, but it may be in future he's trying to zone away from a pay or whatever it is. And we've seen there how the potential of L.O.G.I.A to blow somebody up.
Leo looking to do some interruption, but again, one Leo against 3. There's only so much you can do.
Yes, absolutely. So that is going to be a camp picked up there by BFB. Now they're going to go and secure their own Bruiser camp, potentially. Although they first want to clear the enemy. I like that idea. Oh, ETC gets pulled in a little bit. Condemned there from Johanna. And
it's nice that they're just running that delay there, just trying to keep that camp alive as long as possible, maximize that value, maybe get a tower if they can.
Yeah. The problem is, while Reyna's not there, Reyna's their main clear for that Bruiser camp. Johanna steps up though, puts a fair amount of punishment onto Maya who has to jump out there and use her trait. So,
and look at that damage coming out from L.O.G.I.A already.
And he's only on 105 sadism so far, and that's going to be climbing and climbing if he can keep getting killed. Oh, this time onto Maya, she jumps, but then gets rooted by Anduin in the follow-up, throws in the Spirit of Vengeance, doesn't quite catch onto anyone there. ETC going to walk safely away, and now the camp is pushing, of course, for Band of Brewers. They will use that space to pay some gemmies.
Yeah, and we can see here the Johanna just looking to set up with Q, getting that little bit of slow. More so at 7, taking the usual, the talents that we tend to usually see. L.O.G.I.A then, it's like candy from a baby. Just combo, easy done.
Speaking of which, immediately takes half of Maya's health off with that one combo. And of course, Reyna wasn't even there to follow up on the damage because Reyna was paying gemmies. There's 43 paid in so far by Band of Brewers, and they've got enough to finish it off when they want to. But Maev comes in, thinking about engage. There's a beautiful silence from Insanity onto the Maev, shuts down that engage altogether, and she's got to walk away with her glaive between her legs. That's a lovely iron skin from Johanna. Stops the roots hitting, and it's punishment onto Maev. Maybe there's punishment onto ETC as well, who's fallen out of mana. Paige Biscuit with a sustained damage, but I don't think they'll get the kill. They'll just go and pay in the gemmies to the Spider Queen.
And L.O.G.I.A, I mean, they've got to... Right now, he's such a scary hero to go into, and he's only going to get stronger now. So he's just dropped 10 sadism, so he was on 114 before that, less than 4 minutes into the game. He's... Oh, look at that. ETC just lost his entire health regen that he had backed up there.
It's absolutely brutal, and that's really going to be something that ETC's got to be more and more cautious about as the game goes on. Now, of course, the Web Weavers are pushing, and we do know, of course, that there is great wave clear available for L.O.G.I.A. They've got the Leoric there with the Neil Peasants. They've got the Kael'thas, and they've got the Maiev as well. But Maiev, Maiev is still alive, but Kael'thas has been punished. ETC is going to be next to fall. And I think that's a massacre here. Alarak doing
and all the gems, and all the gems down as well. That puts blue on 5, 10, 37 gems. So what was that? 20 down, 20 on the floor, 30 on the floor.
Brutal. And of course, if there's a time you don't want to be losing 2 heroes, it's when there's a web weaver pushing very healthily. That's taking a mid fort already at 5 minutes. Oh, L.O.G.I.A with 25 gems. Just about gets away with his Wraith Walk.
I say so dominating right here. You've got 1 fort down and looking to get the second. Oh, not completely the wall, but still pushing in. I mean, if you get a web weaver like in 5 minutes, then you're lucky to get a wall most of the time, or 2 walls. In this instance, not only have they got the wall, they got the fort, and they got part of another wall as well. So very nice rotations. KT obviously needs to be very careful, even if he's behind the gate, because Alarak will punish that.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was a nice knockback there from ETC, stopped him from getting comboed again, and that's going to be crucial. Is like the reactions of Shia on the ETC. Shia LaBeef, you might call him, as ETC. And ETC steps up, going to zone a bit, and they want to get a pay because miraculously, despite the the structural problems they've had, they're still fairly even on XP here on the side of L.O.G.I.A. Yeah, slightly down in terms, the level 10s have just arrived for BOB, but that's going to be very soon that L.O.G.I.A get that 10 as well to match. So they've done a great job of keeping up in XP despite getting hammered in terms of that first Robiva push.
Yeah, I'm still mad at you for that cow pun.
I think you left it really, but now there's a potential invade. Time Bullet steps up into this bruiser camp. Beautiful combo from Alarak, and there's the Blessed Shield to follow onto Kael'thas. Reina wasn't there to do the follow-up damage just yet.
Oh, will Alarak fall? Is that sadism? Sadism gone? Yes.
Look at the light bomb.
Looks like Pyro's out. Pyro's out.
Yeah, and there's a Warden's Cage. ETC stepping up. It's an absolute massacre, though. The Warden's Cage has caused absolute devastation. It's 3 members down. Great turnaround there from L.O.G.I.A.
And there will be a pay to follow it up as well. Waves are pushed out, and as something mentioned before, say Red, that wave clear is not the best. I mean, it's not awful, but it's not great, especially when there's a camp coming in as well mid. Yeah,
so they're going to step up, push into the mid with this camp, with the web weavers. This is L.O.G.I.A's moment, time to shine. Now, they have the Entomb available in a few seconds, so we might see L.O.G.I.A rotate down, but instead we see ETC just go in. There's that combo. Iron Skin is available, uses it to break the tether. Nice walk away from Joanna.
Yeah, and so we noticed like Alarak's not quite doing the damage that it was. Oh, looks like Paige has been caught in the Entomb. Light Bomb comes out, no pull it seems, and that's a full, but will ETC fall on the counter? No, it seems.
Not quite. So, that is 1 kill for nothing there, and of course they've still got their camp very healthy. The web weavers very healthy, pushing mid, but they've decided to retreat, knowing that they're not going to get the keep. They're going to go and get that top fort instead and secure themselves more map space. It's now a fort advantage in favor of L.O.G.I.A, and what a turnaround this has been.
Oh, definitely, and I mean I really like that that decision making process they followed. They thought, oh, maybe we get the keep wall, but committing to the fort is going to give them more trickle XP as the game goes on, and they are close to 13, and they have a second pay, so they're saying, look, let's get what we can get here nice and safely, reset, get the next pay, push harder then.
Yeah, they are going to do that. Level 13s are in, and they are being picked up right now. Mic check from ETC, ominous Wraith from L.O.G.I.A. Again, we talked about how that's going to be crucial into reducing Alarak's damage later on. Pyromaniac from Kael'thas. Now, here's an Entomb onto Joanna. Has the Iron Skin available, so not too afraid for now. And Misha with the zoning.
Yeah, it looked like, let's say, with that Entomb going across the wall, ETC was just almost reactively looking to follow up on it when they were in range. However, Power Slide wouldn't go through the wall, unfortunately. So, right here, the pay has been confirmed. See, the waves are round about middle, but they are looking to push in against that camp. So we're going to see now, are they going to opt for a hard push at top, or just clear out the full outer shell at bot?
Yeah, and kind of disappointingly, Band of Brewers gave up their mid camp fairly easily.
Oh, is Rexar in trouble here? 38 gems.
You're right, he is, and 38 gems on the deck. I don't think Time Bullet can get to them. Oh, but he's been tombed as well. No Iron Skin left available. Anduin pulls him to safety, though. Maybe not that much to safety. In comes Maev looking to chase. Time Bullet falling pretty low. The silence used from Alarak, but maybe he's got himself in trouble as well with the tether. The light bomb doesn't hit on 21. So
nobody.
Oh, the dodge of the light bomb. Counter strike from Insanity. Great, brilliant stuff there to secure that counter kill onto Malf.
Yeah, and just quickly looking to top, I say Jimmy there was looking to defend on the Web Weavers. So we have that. Oh, sorry. I'm not yawning because of the game. I'm yawning because I'm lacking of sleep today. So we have the top gate down, but unfortunately, with Jimmy being the main wave player, the rotations that they have to follow are completely dependent on that. But it looks like almost all the walls are down. Or they will be very soon in the next wave or two.
Yes, they are. So far, it's 3 thoughts to 1 in favor of L.O.G.I.A. They're going to secure their bruiser camp. That'll get them 16. Then they can think about fighting. But for now, they may be allowing Band of Brewers to pay some gemmies. So I think that is a brief moment of respite for Band of Brewers, but they don't have the 16. They've got to play cautiously with these Web Weavers.
Yeah, and look at L.O.G.I.A. there picking up the camp, like very nicely timed, allowing the mid lane to push in a bit more, really denying, say, BOB to get aggressive at any point. And obviously with the 16 advantage here, but looks like there might have been a bit of a sniff of an engage. They're going to be looking to, I mean, the boss is still open, so they might just be looking the position that they're in, say two structures behind, and say not much else really available.
Best shield on with the combo onto Maev. Is she going to get locked down hard enough? In comes the light bomb, but Maev jumps, but she still falls. That's a lovely kill there from Band of Brewers, and they may go for more. In comes Arak with the combo again onto Malf and ETC. Got to step back now. And they will retreat with just that one kill. They took advantage because they saw Lyric bottom and they pulled the trigger. Beautifully executed there from Band of Brewers.
Yeah, almost looks like they were going to miss it. Seeing the Maev jump and light bomb perfectly timed. You know, I'm not sure if that was anticipation of the jump coming out, but just as Maev landed, the light bomb did connect to help secure the kill.
Lyric now carrying 20 gemmies. They've got to, that means Lyric's going to be a bit cautious about time, perhaps more so than usual. ETC, that's confidence, because in comes the combo, and there's going to be lockdown from Time Bullet to follow up as well, and that's been punished. Absolute punishment there onto ETC. It does create potentially the space to pay, so Lyric has got a gem, but the rest of them don't have enough. And with that, Band of Brewers going for that boss that you were talking about.
Yeah, and BOB having enough to pay as well with Lazy on the Rexar. Oh, he's just paid. So this could be a huge turning point in the game. Half a level behind, but even talents. Free boss here, ETC not back for 20 seconds, and this looks perfectly timed with the objective coming in. I can see a keep being taken here at top.
The only thing BOB have to watch out for is that those Siege Giants at the bottom will outpush the Web Weaver, especially with Lyric helping them. So there's actually push pressure for L.O.G.I.A. in the bottom lane, going to be knocking on that keep in the bot lane. So that's something that BOB have to be mindful of. They don't want to give a keep for a keep when they've got such a, objective advantage with the boss and the Web Weavers. They don't want to be trading evenly. But on the other hand, if they get a good engage here, there's potentially game if they, if they win a fight while these Web Weavers and boss are pushing. And there it is onto ETC with the light bomb to follow. He's been stunned for so long. Malf can't keep him alive. Yes, he can. When the tranquility comes out and ETC is still alive, Lyric steps up, does the zoning, gets stunned eventually, but that's not going to worry Lyric too much. And that is a successful defense from L.O.G.I.A. Brilliant save from Malf onto ETC.
Yeah, and as you said at the bottom, those the Giants, and there's a Kata behind it as well, so the keep is taking damage, and looks like Jimmy's here just in time to help clean up. Q to proc the reset, and all looks to be good. I mean, top keep. So close to falling, but again, fantastic defense, as you said.
I mean, ETC surviving by the skin of his teeth. The chain CC was there, and it's been really well executed. but is, ultimately the mouth piled so much healing there onto ETC, just about kept him alive. And I think the imposing presence slowing Reyna's damage down massively was a factor as well. And now, of course, here's a net counter engage onto our Transparent Anduin. He's been absolutely destroyed, and ETC stepping up, falling a bit low. There's the Entomb, doesn't quite catch onto anybody. And Maiev steps up, tries to zone. There's the combo from Alarak. Reyna with a follow-up damage. Maiev down to 40 hit points, but 40 hit points is more than 0. Quick maths. And Maiev will step away.
40 is definitely more than 0. Looking here with the pay coming in, and all the lanes pushed out so far, it's going to be quite tricky to defend this. Anduin not back for 23 seconds at the moment. Bot keeps surely down now.
The mosh pit there, immediately interrupted by Reyna. I mean, you're absolutely right. I think BOB could really use a wish right now, because this is Web Weavers in every lane, and they still have their healer dead. And not just their healer, but of course the person who saves them from those ETC engages. Time Bullet getting sucked off by L.O.G.I.A. Then the Web Weaver's going to put a bit of pressure on this bottom keep. Bottom keep's down. That's not the issue. The issue is, are all the keeps going to collapse? Are they even going to go core? The level 20s are very nearly in for L.O.G.I.A. They've decided not to pull the trigger, but to back off, regroup, get the 20, and look to fight then.
Yeah, I mean, I really like that. So, it's so close to 20, and it is so easy to make that decision of, oh, do we have the momentum? Can we do it? Obviously, losing that fight means that you give the enemy such a chance to come back into the game. L.O.G.I.A now know it's their game to lose. They have 2 keeps, all the lanes pushed out, halfway through on gems on both sides, so no immediate pressure on that. They can just play a waiting game here. Wait for the Catters to come in top and bottom, which is perfect, aside from having all 3 down, forcing the rotations there. Looks like Maiev was looking for a tether, not quite able to find it though.
This is incredibly tense here. The thing is, the Band of Brewers are basically potentially moments away from being eliminated from the Legendary Cup, which they came into as the favorites. The viewer poll said it, the statistics said it, but here they are, potentially minutes away from being eliminated. If they lose one team fight, they've lost their chance at the Legendary Cup. And even if they win this game, they've got to go to a game number 3. It's everything to play for here at the Heroes Lounge Legendary Cup semi-final. And level 20s are in, blinded by the light for Joanna, trying to save her teammates. Glyph of Faith from Anduin, getting another pull to safety. Alak with the deadly charge. So he's got 2 heroics now, and he's not afraid to use them. We know that. Indomitable resolve from Reyna as well. So there's going to be a lot of Hyperion potential.
And deadly charge looks like it's been set up by Insanity. Going in there with the light bomb as well.
The Warden's cage is there. ETC with a mosh pit though. 1 to 3 members. One of them's been saved. They've both been saved. Transparent with the absolutely huge helping hand. And now ETC is going to start stepping up. He has the death metal available, so if he gets blown up, he's just going to do a death metal that nobody will be able to save from. Alarak's there with the counter. Can he punish Maiev? He's still alive somehow. I don't know how. Maev's chasing him with the help of Malfurion. There's the silence from Alarak. And Alarak finally dies to Maiev and Malfurion. And that means the Bruiser Camp's pushing in mid. There's the lockdown onto Joanna. Time Bullet's falling. Is this the beginning of the end for BOB? They've got 3 members on the deck. The Bruiser Camp's marching mid. They may go all the way here, L.O.G.I.A. I think they're going to go all the way to this grand final.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really see any way back in for them now. 3 dead, just Jimmy and Rex are there. I mean, health pools aren't fantastic, but they have the healer there. The Entomb comes out, and that's the last of the damage gone.
The ETC slides in to secure the final kill potentially against Rexar. Rexar's going to bide his time. Maybe he'll even survive, but the core might not be so lucky. Out come the boars, putting on the damage, but it's not going to be enough because there are 5 members alive of L.O.G.I.A and the camp and 2 waves with catapults included. This looks like they are going all the way to the grand final against Mold Level Rising. L.O.G.I.A win 2-0 against Band of Brewers.
Yeah, fantastically played by them. Yeah, I don't think there's much else to say. They had a good solid draft, well executed. I do think a small bit of a misplay though in the draft by BOB. That lack of wave clear seemed to really hurt them at times. But the L.O.G.I.A play phenomenal, especially the early game. When that first kill chain happened, I think it was in the bottom choke point, and the Alarak went down, Tank went down, let's say Johanna, and I think the 3 deaths and sadism reset being absolutely huge.
Yeah, and that was so important for them. I have to say, credit to L.O.G.I.A. They just looked so confident in this game, and I really liked that Maiev idea of Thraldwyn there, and it gave a lot of momentum to L.O.G.I.A. to allow them to engage and not let Alarak engage on his terms. Now, sometimes Alarak did engage on his terms, and he got incredible value again and again. So, not taking anything away from Band of Brewers there, but wow, what a performance from them. That, of course, means L.O.G.I.A. through to the grand final against Mold Level Rising. That's an all Division 3 grand final for the Legendary Cup. Both of those teams coming from Division 3. I mean, that's a surprise in itself, isn't it?
I mean, it is, but again, it goes to show that anything can happen here. Doesn't matter what division that you've come from. Get through the groups, get to final day. You have as much chance of winning as any other team, regardless of what the stats say. The favourites that are there. It all comes down to how you perform on those last few games.
Yeah, and in these games just now, L.O.G.I.A. really showed their strength. Absolutely incredible performance from them. And they will be going through to the grand final against Mold Level Rising. I mean, quickly, just on Band of Brewers, they came in potentially as the favourites to this tournament. What do you think has let them down in a sense in that semi-final?
I'll say nothing really stood out to me apart from, say, the drafting game 2. Game 1, I think L.O.G.I.A. they just did a lot of research against the team, knew what areas they were looking to pinpoint. So you saw the camp invades that were coming in. They were spot on. In the bot lane, the Khazra, the native Khazra for BOB, and then the Shaman camp at top. Both of them very solid invades. They were a tad unlucky at the top one, but everything else they just looked to bully them. And we always talk about teams should be playing their own games, and rather than countering the opponent's team as a default. But what L.O.G.I.A. did there was just break the rhythm of BOB, and they did it fantastically. Game 1 and game 2.
Yeah, and I think that's something that I was saying about the Alarak versus Maiev as well, because you could imagine a different draft. Instead of Maiev, you take something safer. You take something more normal, let's say, and less aggressive, and then Alarak maybe would have just been free to get picks, and we saw a glimmer of what that would have been like from Insanity there. But ultimately, the Maiev allowed those harder counter engages as well. With credit to L.O.G.I.A. for some phenomenal entombs as well. I have to say, the most fun fight for me to watch was when the mosh pit, both people got pulled out of the mosh pit by the rescue. But that even that wasn't enough. Even the 2 Leap of Faiths weren't enough to save them from L.O.G.I.A.
Yeah, it turns out double in protection is not completely OP.
So we're just going to wait to see what's happening with the teams, because they may have a choice of a break. L.O.G.I.A. may have a choice of a break if they want, because of course they've just been playing. Whilst we wait for those teams, don't forget that there is on next Saturday, a week from now, on the 8th of August, we have the Heroes Lounge charity stream supporting the Stephen Lawrence Charitable Trust and Gendered Intelligence. And there's a tournament you can enter for €10 with all the proceeds going to those charities. So, and that's going to be a fun charity stream all day, starting at 14 CEST, 2 p.m. And you can find more information about that both on our website, heroeslounge.gg, or on our Discord. And if you're not in our Discord yet, why not? Type !Discord and click to join. So don't forget also that there's Mythic Championship tomorrow. I mean, that's going to be something extremely exciting to look forward to. We have a special guest coming in as analyst as well for that. So that should be very interesting indeed.
No, seems almost forgot about that for a second. It's been so interesting, the end close, the two games that we've seen already. It just kind of makes you forget that we have, the highest division playing off in the final day tomorrow.
Yeah, that's going to be absolutely incredible. So for those of you who don't know, the Mythic Championship tomorrow is teams from Division 1, the top of Heroes Lounge, and you have some really top-level teams there. I mean, I have to say, we've seen some incredibly high-level Heroes of the Storm today here in Divisions 2 and 3 Legendary Cup. So, we're going to see potentially some absolutely phenomenal things coming tomorrow. Going back to the semi-finals we just watched, because we've seen two really close semi-finals. What's your feeling based on what you've seen about L.O.G.I.A versus Mold? I mean, which of these teams looked stronger in the semis?
Well, just speaking of the semis, L.O.G.I.A match, obviously seeing it as an observer with access to the camera is a bit easier than watching on a stream. But MLR, sorry, can't read my doodads. They looked strong, although them losing a map against Water Dragons was a bit. They looked a bit shaky. Looks like the nerves might have got to them or something. It looked like they had the potential to take it, but wasn't to be. Still managing to make it through though. But L.O.G.I.A, they just look so solid in those two games, especially against such a dominating team as BOB. Before looking at the drafts or anything, my money would be on L.O.G.I.A.
Yeah, that is interesting, because I think if before you come into the day today, people would have said Mold Level Rising came as the favorites, but compared to L.O.G.I.A and Band of Brewers came as the favorites probably as well, and that's already been an upset. So what we're seeing, I think, is L.O.G.I.A looking really strong today, and as you say, they won 2-0 in their semi-final, whereas Mold only won 2-1. Only, of course, they still look incredibly strong. But I wonder if maybe there's been great scouting by opponents of Mold, and they're starting to kind of see, kind of work out how to deconstruct some of that strategy of Mold Level Rising. They seem to have, a certain style of playing, and a lot of it is about those aggressive tanks, etc, a noob, kind of going in, getting that CC, and follow up with burst. We saw also that 3 tank stuff coming out on Battlefield, or let's say 3 frontline with etc, May, and Imperius, or Anubis, May, and Imperius. Is that something the teams are going to be prepared for? Is it something L.O.G.I.A are going to be prepared for? And if so, how do they deal with that?
Yeah, I mean, kind of planning a draft around the triple front line is always going to be an issue for any team, because you kind of make a commitment one way or another. I think if it comes out, they need to just make sure that they leave enough space in their draft, either anticipating or coming up with a nice soft counter. Not necessarily committing to a real hard counter to it, but giving them that breathing room should it be coming out, having a backup plan. Say, this is what we kind of want. If we're expecting this, then we've got this as an option as well. Maybe not the most optimized pick against it, but leaving themselves flexible, I think.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we're actually going to take a quick break while we wait for these teams to get set up. Obviously, the teams L.O.G.I.A want a little bit of a break between semi and the grand final. So we're going to take a 5 to 10 minute break before the grand final. But don't go anywhere, because, of course, when we come back, we will be bringing the best of 5 series in which the Legendary Cup champions will be decided between L.O.G.I.A and Mold Level Rising. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back.